guys and gals, backwaters and backroads here. The Beagle has another great Nosy Beagle interview for you. Today it's Dennis Buskar of the YouTube channel Outdoors with Den. He built a 16-foot barrel boat, and you just have to see this. He went above and beyond, built a way above what I think most people would do. I mean, this is a cool boat. So instead of talking about it, how about if I just turn the phone around and show you? Stay tuned. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us. Really excited to show people your boat.
Glad you're here, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's, how about if we just start walking around? I'll ask some questions and then we'll just go from there.
Sounds good.
So the basics, it's a 16-foot barrel boat. And when we say barrel boat, guys, we're talking like barrels, and I'll just let Dennis take it from there. Tell us about it.
Okay, it's 8 feet wide, 16 feet long. It's got 15 barrels. And you know, they say a barrel can hold up 400 pounds, but that's over halfway, so I estimated about 200 pounds. So it'll hold up. The boat weighs 2,000 pounds, so I got about 1,000 pounds of cargo I can put on it without having any problems. Most people will go even further, but I don't want to go any further than halfway, you know, in the water. It draws about a foot of water now. You can see the line on the bottom of the barrel there. So right now it's floating about here, which is right where I want to be. Other people will take them deeper, and then the front line, this is halfway. It floats about here, which is why my diverters are so small, because I'm not putting a lot of it into the water at all.
Yeah. Tell us about those. You know, I've been curious myself about, you know, how did you make those? And obviously they must be able to shed water if they get water inside. And how did you come up with that design?
Yeah, there's no seal, so water can get in here. What it is there's a 2x4 running across the front of the barrel. The barrels are trapped by 2x4s. So that cross 2x4 there, and then goes down with a 2x4 right down the center of the barrel, and then back up with another 2x4. And that's pretty much all you need. I mean, you're not ramming stuff, you're just pushing water. And then it's just simply screwed on 5 screws. A lot of people make them 2 feet. You know, this is only a foot because I'm only a 5-mile-an-hour boat. So, and the way the barrels are 3 feet long. Well, you end up at 15, not 16. I didn't want to go 17 with a 2-foot nose, so I just made them a foot instead of 2 to keep it 16 feet. I built the boat from the trailer up. I bought the trailer, which is not usually how barrel boats are done. Usually people have a trailer, a utility trailer, and just build a barrel boat and slide it on. But like you know, I wanted to take the trips, the big trips. That last trip was 500 miles round trip, and I get a lot of responses from Facebook on how the barrels handle trailering. Well, the blue barrels, they're always collapsing on everybody's videos, and you got to put air valves in and pump them up. These have never collapsed in 5 years. You know, on the boat for 3 hard winters, the only thing I do is I jack up the front and back of the boat and take the weight off in the winter. But I like the white barrels. The only problem I'm having right now is launching and loading. My bunks don't go past the first strap. So coming off the trailer, it pulls on the straps.
Oh, right.
And then just my inexperience right now, I hit the straps loading the trailer when I did my solo power load. If I have somebody with me and we're loading a trailer, walk it on, it's easy.
Yeah.
But I'm on the trip by myself, all the construction workers putting in a new dock, and I just kept fighting the wind and kept ramming the trailer with the boat, bending the crap out of the straps. After about the 6th time one guy in the water after I almost hit him a bunch of times. He's like, "You need some help?" Sure enough, as soon as he walks over to the front of the boat, I pull it straight on. No problem. All he had to do was just crank it.
It's always easier with two people.
Yeah, definitely two people. Doable with one. But the big thing about this boat is it's not hard to make, and if you don't go crazy on stuff, it's very inexpensive. I mean, barrels, 10, 20 bucks a piece, or free, however you can get them. Everything else is Home Depot pretty much. And I think in my other video, you know, without the solar, just the boat itself, you know, you're talking only $1,500, $2,000 maybe tops.
Is that what you have into it minus the motor?
Whatever wood's, you know, going for at the time, but yeah.
Dennis, why don't you tell us about the motor you put on it? Actually, motors, you got more than one.
I ended up buying the Suzuki. It's the only motor I could find with controls.
And this small, you mean a 9.9?
Yeah.
And power trim and tilt and EFI.
Yes.
That is nice.
So I bit the bullet on that. So that was the most expensive thing on the boat. And the funny thing is it's only used 5% maybe at the, you know, of the time. The most I use it for is launching, loading, and if I got to get out of somebody's way. But the trip I took was 32 and a half miles, 19 and a half hours. Only 3 were on the gas motor, and that was just by preference. You know, a gallon of gas in 5 days. Didn't need to use the gas motor except for launching and loading. And that trolling motor, that Traxxas Minn Kota, I ran for hours and hours.
Well, so people are not sure what we're talking about here. So Dennis put a trolling motor on the back, and he has 800 watts of solar, which we'll show you in a minute when we get up on the boat. But this is basically a solar-powered boat. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, that's what it's registered as. And 6-7 hours at a time. Didn't hurt it one bit. I called Minn Kota, talked to them. They were fine with what I was doing. Their only recommendation was to lift it out of the water if I'm gonna spend a lot of time using the gas motor, which I told them that's not what I do. So it's a 24 volt. It's a bigger motor. 70 pounds of thrust. Good to push 3,500 pounds, they said.
Can you tell us how you set up the steering?
Yeah, the steering, I bought an arm, steering link arm, made my own bracket because the Suzuki had everything, came with everything. So I bought this arm, made a little bracket out of aluminum. This play here is when I tilt this motor up and down, I can still steer with the trolling motor if I gotta get through shallow water.
Good thinking.
This is, like I said, this is used 95% of the time, which is kind of crazy.
I mean, are you cruising around at 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour with the trolling motor, or what's your speed?
I was surprised. They said that the top speed on the trolling motor is 3 miles an hour. And that makes sense. I was doing 2.5. And I said, well, I only put it 3/4 throttle. You know, 3/4 to full is nothing on any motor, right? Except for burning gas or electric, right? You get a speedboat or something, then you got something there. But anything like this, and he said, yeah, 3/4 throttle, stay right around 3/4 throttle. It'll last for a long time. So that's about 2.5 miles an hour.
And how many years have you used that and it's still working?
This motor has 23 hours on it.
No troubles.
Nope, and that's not 20 minutes at a time, that's 5-6 hours at a time.
Yeah. And you have two 12-volt deep cycle batteries set up in a series?
Yeah, because it's a 24 volt, I bought two AGM 12 volts and put them in series to get my 24 volts, because just reading up and doing my solar study and all that, 24 volt is more efficient than 12.
All right, guys, we're going to go up the ladder and go up into the boat and check out the cabin and such. Why don't you move? All right, I know it'll be kind of tight quartered because it's only a 16-foot boat, but yeah, why don't you tell us, we'll start with the back deck. Why don't you tell us about this?
All right, I wanted the deck bigger in the back. You know, you always see the deck in the front, right? I wanted a bigger deck in the back to hang out, so I made the back 5 by 8. The front deck is only 3 by 8. I did the corner cup holders, mostly, you know, to add strength to the walls. And then I got my fishing rods mounted there. I did have them straight up here, but then I put this awning, a house awning on.
That's really neat. I'll show you guys a picture of that deployed off of Dennis's channel. Give you some shade back here.
Yep, and then my backup camera for on the road or on the boat, either way. The monitor just has a cigarette plug on it, so you can move the monitor wherever you want. And you can see these are 3 years old, so you can see what's happening to them. But, you know, paint, another 2x4, no big deal.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how the whole boat is. Like my build video, I explain that this is one panel, this is one panel, this is one panel, and this is one panel. So taking everything apart and replacing it is real easy. And that was the whole deal behind the boat.
Now, what is this material right here?
That is regular wall board from Home Depot or wherever. It's like dry erase board, basically. The back side is very coarse and definitely has to be painted right away. I would not recommend it, but it's cheap. This is what you would get. And this is 3 years old. This is Luan, so you can see what happens to Luan. Luan just falls apart. This is the wall board. Now, there's all kinds of crap all over it, but that just washes off.
Yeah. What, if you were building again, what you say you wouldn't recommend that material, what would you recommend?
What I would do, and what I will do on this boat, is probably just a roll of 24-inch roof flashing.
So just really thin aluminum.
Yep, and I would just wrap it that way. I would do I would get a 24-inch roll of white and a 14-inch roll of black and just reskin the whole boat in the aluminum. Yeah, it's thin, but it's cheap and it's aluminum.
And really the strength of the cabin comes from the wooden framing, and the sheathing is really just to keep the water out, like flashing is supposed to do.
Yep. Yeah, that's the all the vertical studs are 1.5 inch aluminum, and all 4 corners are 2x4s in an L shape. So this is, I would not do this again either. It's kind of overkill. If you're gonna have solar on the roof and not walk on it, I wouldn't go with 2x4s. I would go with 2x2s. I would go with the real light, flexible panels that don't weigh anything. You could knock down a lot of weight. This boat weighs 2,000 pounds.
That's with the motor.
That's everything. If you reskin it in aluminum and you lightened up the roof, because you're not going to walk on it, you would shed, you know, a couple 100 pounds easy. These panels there's 8 panels on the roof. That's 120 pounds just in panels. If you go to the thin, flexible ones now, they're only a couple pounds a piece. So that's huge. And you know, did I need to go doubled up 2x4s in the corner? Well, 2 reasons. I wanted walls to nail inside trim to, and I wanted the strength, right? Because I don't want, if I want to do 500 miles down the road, I don't want to get there and lean on it. It just leans over.
Yeah.
I mean, the boat's.
You know, the cabin on my barge is basically built with 2x2s, but it has so much reinforcement from the outside, you know, tongue and groove, outside and inside, that it, you know, kind of becomes a moot point. But I know what you mean. A 2x2, a good 2x2 is a strong piece of wood.
Yeah, and you know, all your RVs and campers are all 2x2s, and they go down the highway, right? I've seen people build 2x4 framing and then plywood or T111 on the outside.
Barrel boat?
It's like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
They're sinking. They're sinking before they even get in the water.
Next thing you know, they're adding another tune, you know, 2 tunes. And
yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, any sort of catamaran style hull has got to be kept light as possible.
And I was actually surprised this weighed 2,000 pounds, but I was hoping for, you know, a few 100 pounds less than that. But
yeah. Well, let's maybe you could just start, like, why don't you start at the helm, Dennis? So the helm is obviously from like a pontoon boat. Did you get that used off somewhere, or? This
was off of eBay, and it was just brand new, you know, no, raw, no holes in it, nothing.
With the steering cable and the steering wheel?
Nope. This fancy dancy wheel I bought. I can't even hardly tell, but it says decked out. Nice wheel. That was like $40. I had to buy the whole kit. I had to buy this aluminum spacer. I had to buy the steering cable kit. I had to put the holes in. The access panel for this, unfortunately, is the whole front of the helm, and I can't get to it without taking off the front. So I'll probably just put trim panels here that come out this way and get rid of this ugly. I have nice wood. But yeah, I just built that, put that in there. That monitor is phenomenal.
So you use a tablet with Navionics, correct?
Yep, I just use a tablet. Nothing special on this boat.
Can you show us your controls to the Suzuki over here real quick?
Yeah, we got the Suzuki, the power trim. It's fuel injected, so there's no choke or anything.
That's beautiful. That just means it's even getting better fuel economy.
Yep. And then, if you can see the Minn Kota, that's just mounted vertical.
So that's basically the top of the Minn Kota.
Yep, that's just the head off of the trolling motor. Just pull it off and lengthen the wires.
And then that works as able to start it, correct? To start it. And what can you do with that? Tell me what controls you get from that right there.
This is the trolling motor throttle. I didn't want, and this extends up. It doesn't anymore because I screwed this on it, but this would have came straight up and I would have had to do this, you know, and I didn't want to do that, you know. So I wanted it more like a trawler style, so I just screwed this golf cart shifter to the top of the handle. So now, you know, it's basically...
Okay, that's throttle.
That's forward, that's reverse.
Oh, it's genius.
All
you
right.
know, I have a 48 volt trolling motor that came on a boat, and I was thinking about selling it because I never use it or anything, but now you just made me so glad it didn't sell, and I'm going to put it on my puddle jumper. Guys, I haven't told you this yet because I have so many projects on my channel, but eventually I'll get to it. I have a 16-foot pontoon boat, and it's going to be roughly the same size as this. I was inspired by Dennis's build, and I'm going to call it the puddle jumper. And you know, maybe next summer, if I get it done, we'll do some adventures together, because we're both here in Michigan. I didn't mention this, but Dennis lives down here in lower Michigan, and I live in the UP, of course. So yeah, we got some tentative plans for maybe next summer. Meet up and do some cool trips. But
yes, definitely. cost free.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able. I don't have the same skills as you. So, well, okay, let's move behind you here. You have like a kitchenette or a dinette, or what would you call that?
It ended up just being my dinner table and work table for the laptop while I was out there. But this is actually the bathroom. And this just lifts up. Put it on a hinge. Put a hook up top here. And then there's the bathroom. That's bolted down. This was the same one that I think that Ted has on his.
It's
never really been used.
Is it a composting toilet or?
Oh, nope, it's just a porta potty.
Okay. With a
This is a fancy one. It's battery operated. You know, it's got gauges on it and
separates the number ones and number two.
No, it doesn't separate them, but it's got a 4 or 5 gallon holding tank on the bottom. And that's the same one I use in the camper. I just switch them back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Well, that exposed some of your wiring in the boat. Maybe you could tell us a little about that. You don't have to go into all the details, but maybe just point out what everything is.
Yeah, under here we got our inverter.
Can you point those out just so people can, including me? I'm doing this partially for me, guys.
Okay.
I'm learning something.
Pure sine inverter.
Okay.
I got 1,000 watt, 2,000 peak, just because I was only planning on running lights and TV. If you're gonna run a fridge, you might want to bump this up, to 2,000. And then the Renogy Wanderer, that's just a PWM controller. You're always going to want to go with a MPPT, which is more efficient. And then the main thing you got to do is just make sure you got breakers in the right spots. These are just my big bus bars for all my power coming in and out. This is my fuse panel for 12 volt. I have plenty of spots to use. These are real good. This is a C-Sense or whatever brand. And you gotta have one of those. And then just a plug bar. And then that goes up to the top. This is for the just the cabin.
Then you were saying you have your monitor up here for watching Grumpy Old Man and other movies. Is there other movies?
Yeah.
There's a couple other movies.
Yeah, that's Grumpy Old Man and what else?
Dennis is a fan too.
Here's a good one. This is one I want you to watch sometime.
We're gonna do a budget movie review. Okay, Gone Fishing. I think I've seen the cover. I've never seen the movie though.
It's just dumb humor, but funny.
Yeah. No,
nothing you got to think about.
That's why I like. Well, who's the guy? Now I'm not remembering his name.
Mel Brooks?
No, the guy off of Saturday Night Live that I like so much.
Oh, Adam Sandler?
No, no, he was there too. All right, guys, I'm popping out here on the front deck, and it's small. What's the dimensions of the front deck?
3 by 8. So it's just big enough to put a couple chairs or store your stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you have a gate, and then you have a ladder on the trailer to come off and on.
And then this is just where I keep all my supplies.
Here, I'm going to close the door on you. And does this screen in? Have you thought about screening this in, or?
I've thought about it. I just have to figure out a good way to do it. I mean, there's no sense in screening it in if you're going to have little gaps and holes.
True.
But yeah, it would be really nice.
Your windows. So tell me, what are these windows made out of?
Well, again, with the budget, I just ordered a roll of vinyl, clear and tinted. The front ones are obviously clear, and the side ones are tinted, which really worked out well. Never used tinted vinyl before, but do you know what mill it is? Not offhand.
Thicker than average, or?
No.
Okay.
Nope, nothing special about it. I did try to get marine grade, you know, with the UV.
Like someone would put in canvas, like a canvas back, or?
Yep, I think they call it Lexan or something, you know, on the, if you're going to pay big money for it. But yeah, I just looked for a cheap marine grade and bought a roll of it, or a roll of clear and a roll of the tinted. All the windows are just, the window frames are all made of 2x4s, cut down 1/2 inch wide. I would probably go 3/4 if I was going to do it again. For the extra strength, 1/2 inch of visibility ain't nothing, you know, because sometimes these 1/2 inch ones, they will crack and bend. I have a couple cracked ones already.
And then you have screen on them as well?
Yep, I just screened them. And then these are, this was something I thought was going to be cool, is I hinged 4 of them to go completely open. And, you know, I had this dumb thought of fishing out the window or something. Well, it's not really.
Well, maybe pulling up to a dock and you have to mid-ship it or something?
Yeah, drop a buoy out the window or something.
Yeah, I had to do that on the Shanty Beagle adventure. I had,
yeah.
Luckily I already had the windows there, you know, and I'd drop something out the side there sometimes. And
yeah, you had to do it in the locks mostly, right?
I did, yeah. No, if you went through a lock, it would be nice to have access to the midship.
So I might leave these hinged. I don't know. I might not, but. And I thought, well, it'll be all right, you know. I'll just have to put them down if I want to get to the shelf. So I might leave them, but I don't know if I'll ever use them.
And tell us about this corner. Just looks like another workstation maybe, or?
Yep, now over here, this is just stainless steel flip up hinges. And this was my cooktop for the week. My stove in there. Under here, oh, put the cover back in. Under here we have the 24 volt system for the motor. I would definitely recommend separating them. You know, if you're gonna do something like this, separate your cabin power from your motor.
Okay.
It's just makes you feel a lot safer. You know, when I was on the trip, I left the TV on all night long. I didn't worry about it affecting the motor or anything.
Is that, I didn't check, is there a pull start on that Suzuki?
Yeah.
Backup pull start?
Yep. But the Suzuki has its own battery, maintains its own battery out there, so it doesn't have nothing to do with.
Oh, so you got really 3 systems in a way.
3 systems, yep. And then if I bring my Jackery, then I got dual everything, right? I have dual cabin, dual motor. I already got gas and electric motor. Now this is the big boy here. This is a Renogy 40 amp MPPT controller. You can see right now it's a 27.4 because it's a 24 volt system with those 2 batteries. And you can see that it's very simple to just power the motor. You have a solar controller, the shunt for the gauge on the dash there, which that gauge is great. And then just another breaker for the trolling motor, which I leave off when I'm not in the water in case that gets bumped or something. I don't want the trolling motor going while I'm driving down the road. I wasn't going to put an on-off switch up there. I just haven't done it yet.
This is your gauge here in the middle?
Yeah, and you can see, I think the way it's set up right now is it is underneath the 100% there. I think that's a clock telling me how many hours it's been charging today. I think that clock resets every time it stops and starts charging.
Like at night?
Yeah. And it pretty much stays fully charged all summer long in the driveway here, both systems. I can come out here and hang out, whatever, watch TV.
Man cave. It's the ultimate man cave.
Yeah. It's my, and like we talked about earlier, I can go to a campground and stay right in the boat. I don't have to bring the camper. But the system I have works fine for what I'm doing. There's so many different scenarios you can do with solar. You can go small batteries, a ton of panels, which is the budget, or you can go big time batteries, which you're talking thousands of dollars. Thousands.
And a lot of weight.
No, they're light.
What type of
lithium.
batteries? Okay. Is that what those are?
These are AGM, and they're about 65 pounds a piece. And the lithium are not quite half as heavy, but almost half.
When you replace those, you're going to go with lithium?
No, I can't justify the money. I would, and Will Prowse, his channel, he mentioned this. If you don't need to, then don't, right? It's all about autonomous time. If you want to drive the trolling motor through 3 days of clouds and rain and darkness, then you want autonomous power, which is lithium's 224s, 400 amp hours, then you'd be great, but you're talking $3,200. This side, it's like $400 just to buy a lithium 12 volt chins or whatever. I'm not gonna, for what I want to do, just drive it during the day. I want to drive 5-6 hours, stop, eat, fish, whatever. Now, if I do that on this boat, if I drive till 4 in the afternoon and stop and eat, whatever that goes down to, it's going to go right back to 100 while I'm eating, if it's a nice sunny day, right? Because I got 600 watts coming in. I think I got these panels in series as well, so I forget how you say it, but I have 6 panels. They're doubled up in series, and then they're paralleled into the system. So it's either called 3S 2P or 3P 2S. I can't remember. So I got like 40 volts and 600 watts possible. So I'll stop, make burgers or whatever, and go sit back down, and it's charged right back up, and drive the rest of the day. Why should I put $3,000 worth of batteries in when I got a gas motor I can turn on?
Exactly.
So there's lots of ways to do your solar and how you want to do it.
Yep.
And then the 200, so there's only 200 left for the cabin. I didn't have any problem. I ran this whole table was just full of speaker, cameras, drone, everything charging all at once. Left the Christmas lights on, my anchor light, TV all night long. And what'll happen is if the TV, because it's on the inverter, if the inverter senses you're down to 11.8 or whatever, it'll just shut the inverter off. But my anchor light and everything is wired to that panel down there, so the anchor light stays on and the TV goes off. It saves your battery. You wake up in the morning, everything charges right back up, by the time breakfast is over, and you're off and running. And you watch TV all day. It's like, it worked so well, Brent, I was amazed.
Can I bring my puddle jumper down here and you can help me wire mine up like that?
Oh, heck yeah. Anytime.
Because about 90% of that went right over my head. but I understand the basics. I know what you're saying, but yeah, some of these details, obviously, you're good at it. But that's kind of your background. You worked in an engineering field, correct?
Yeah, I did 38 years in automotive, mechanical, design.
Well, thank you so much, Dennis, for giving us a tour of this amazing boat. I get the feeling that you don't even entirely understand just what a cool project this was and the undertaking, and this is going to inspire a lot of people, guaranteed. In fact, why don't you tell the folks what famous YouTuber has watched your videos and sometimes comments?
Well, I've been in contact with Steve Wallace. He is the GOAT, as some people refer to him as. Stealth camper.
Yep, Camping with Steve. About a million subscribers on one channel and 500,000 on another.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
I've sent him a couple links, and he's commented on the boat. And boy, I would love to have him come down. But
wouldn't that be awesome? So we should mention he built a barrel boat.
Yeah.
And he's done a few adventures. I'll show you guys if you don't know. Steve Wallace is very famous, of course, but and one of the things he does is he has a barrel boat, and he goes on multi-day trips down Saskatchewan River up in Canada and stuff. And
yep. And he's got the latest version has an all aluminum cab on it.
I think I saw that. Yep.
So that's nice. Yeah, I was very happy to get a response from him, and of course you, a couple other people. I just love building stuff. I mean, you see what I got going on here.
Yeah, this is not your only project. So can you tell us, let's say in the next, well, I don't know, what's your plans for the boat if it worked out and you get what you want and you get to do the stuff you want to do? Tell us a few things you'd like to do with this boat.
I would love to hit the road and hit as many places as I can, because there's a ton of lakes in Michigan. I can stay in a campground with it if I want to. I can stay anywhere with it if I want to. So I just want to hit the road and keep hitting water and having fun.
Go to Florida, go out west, go just little lakes all over the country.
Yeah, my oldest son, he lives in Tennessee by a beautiful lake. I'd like to go down there. Of course, Florida. My brother is in Colorado. I don't know how many lakes there are in Colorado. I know there's beautiful rivers and stuff, but yeah, I just want to go. I got the van. The van's fairly new. I'm pretty confident in what I built, and I did the 500 miles round trip. On the way home, I hit some roads that bounced me right out of the van seat. And I know this thing was bouncing around, and everything's still rock solid. So
could you just carry a couple extra barrels in the back of your van or something?
I could. I mean, I could carry 8 barrels in the back of that van, but I do have Schrader valves on board. I do have a tire pump on board. I have a drill bit. If I needed to, I could just swap out, or I could put air in, whatever. But I have not had any of the issues other people are having with their blue barrels. Knock on wood, but these white barrels have done just fine, never collapsed. Wintertime, they sit out. I have not had any troubles. The only thing that scared me is I had a couple comments saying they don't hold up to trailering. I was assuming that was on a utility trailer, like most people do with a barrel boat. Not everybody goes and has a pontoon trailer boat built. And then the brittleness. Someone said they get brittle. Well,
20 bucks, you got yourself a new barrel. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And that's, like I was saying in one of my videos, if I poke a hole in the front barrel, throw a new barrel under. You poke a hole in an aluminum pontoon, you're going to pay some money to have it fixed.
Yep.
I don't know. I thought it was so cool of an idea, a barrel boat.
Yeah. And you went and did it.
Yeah, and I went and did it. And then just the shape of it. I said, I can't do it like everybody else. I don't want 6 feet of people sitting in front of me while I'm steering. I want party in the back, business in front, whatever.
Just like
it's a mullet boat.
It's a mullet boat.